We all have our issues during sex, if that is a thing that you have. And my biggest issue that is reoccurring, I found, is that I need to stop saying that was dope after I come. Like, I don't even realize that I'm doing it. And, because that's just a part of my lexicon. That's a part of my vocabulary, you know? It's a thing that I say. Dope is a very Jesse word. I'm trying to show my appreciation of that was a nice thing that we experienced together. And I just have the vocabulary of a dumbass skater boy. So I'm a gentleman. I always finish them first. And then I don't even know if that counts as gentleman. It's just a decent person. You might not be a decent person if you're just like focused on what you're getting out of a sexual act. But also it goes in the other direction sometimes where I just can't come because I am too focused on like, oh, they're doing a thing for me. I feel bad about it. But issues aside, let's get back to what I was saying. I finished them, then they're working on me, and I'm like, oh, that was great. That was a cool thing. And we're just laying in bed, and afterwards they always make fun of me for it because you have to. It doesn't make me feel bad. It's very funny. So after I finish, I'm kind of useless for like 2 to 3 minutes, just kind of laying there like, just give me a second. I need to fucking recharge the batteries before I can function and talk like a human being. Maybe that's why I say dope, because I'm not my brain is in la la land. So I'll be resting there, and then they'll be like, that was dope, huh? And I'm like, oh no, I did it again. It is day 14 of the coronavirus quarantine. My hair is long and I have discovered coffee. It was day 13 that made me crack and be like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do coffee. I've tried it a lot in the past and it's just never been my thing. I even worked at Dunkin' Donuts. But, you know, I figured if you're working at a place where you get free coffee, I should take advantage of it. So I tried it a lot there and it just never was my thing. But now, age of 27, I am enjoying a beverage that makes my head hurt, but at least I have more energy. Don't talk to me until after I've had my coffee. Gotta get one of those mugs that make me look like a douchebag. I know I'm drinking McDonald's coffee. I'm sure all of you have like opinions about it, but I know it's bad. It's what I have. But that's not what we're talking about right now. I want you to know why my hair is so fucking long. And honestly, I like the wavy shit that it's got going on here, so I might just shave the sides down. Maybe I'll do that for a video. The stuff that we need to get done in quarantine. I had a discussion with some friends this morning that I thought was a really good subject that I might want to cover in a PinkBlue episode. So that's what today is about. Not coffee, not about me saying stupid fucking shit after sexing times. You tell I'm a mature adult because I said the two words sexing and times. The word sexing is a bad word. It's not even a word, but I said it in combination with another. I'm 27. I live on my own. I work from home. I have many jobs. I wear many hats. I have lived a life, and yet I still say dope during a sex time and also say a sex time. Maturity is all relative, which is kind of what we're talking about today. Most of the subjects that I talk about in PinkBlue are things that I wish someone had told me when I was younger, and I hope that you are able to learn from this and maybe mature at a rate that is better than mine, because I took a while to mature. An important part of maturing that I didn't realize was a thing until I got there is that you need to learn to stop reading people's subtext. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm saying that when you interact with humans, you should operate like there is no problem unless someone says there is. And you should think that's a basic thing, but as humans, we want to be nice to people. We want to be able to interpret their body language and their words to understand what they're trying to tell us, even if they don't say it. And that is still true in some cases. For example, if you're making someone uncomfortable, whether it's a romantic or a platonic gesture or emotion or anything, and you feel like they're uncomfortable, you should interpret that body language. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if someone wants you to do something or tells you something in a passive-aggressive way. Like if they're being rude to you in a way where you should just know what they're thinking and like interpret that. It's common in both platonic and romantic relationships, but it can be any kind of relationship that you have with someone, sexual or emotional, any kind of relationship, really. Sometimes people don't say what they want and they just assume that you will guess. We want to see the best in people, we want to make people happy, but I'm going to say this in the least mean way possible. That is how babies get what they want. Young children don't know speech yet, so they try to tell you through other ways. Hand motions, they act passive aggressively so that you can manage their emotions for them because they don't know how to yet. And that's fine when you're a baby, but when you are not a baby, when you're an adult person, we have words, we have ways of telling people what we want. And once I matured and started asking for what I wanted and what I needed, I started getting it. You know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I learned to advocate for myself, and then I started getting shit that I wanted. And that all comes with getting older and learning how to communicate with people. And as I matured, some people didn't mature at the same rate as me. There were people in my life that I still had to guess what they were thinking. I had to interpret it and just, you know, micromanage their emotions for them. And, you know, we process things for them. We do mental labor that they should be doing themselves. And that sucks because we should never feel bad for not being able to read someone's mind. If they don't tell us what they want and they just express themselves through passive aggressive like things or just not communicating, and they say, oh, well, you just should have known what I wanted, that's no good, buddy. And I've had a lot of people in my life who communicated this way, as in did not communicate. I'm very aware of my faults, and one of my biggest ones is that I'm a people pleaser. And you might think that might be, you know, one of those things that on your resume, they're like, what's your biggest fault? It's like, well, I like people too much. I care too much. But it does turn bad after a while, because sometimes it turns to obsessive. We want to make people happy. We want them to like us so much that we go out of our way and like do everything for them. And I would do that. In the past, I used to be very selfish. And so now I feel guilty about that. This is all things I've talked with my therapist about, where he's been like, oh, this, and this. And I was like, that's me. Therapists are great. They're like a horoscope that's actually accurate. And so now I'll give all of myself to other people and not care about myself enough and not advocate for myself. And through putting up with people's passive-aggressive behavior or their lack of communication, I enabled them without realizing it. I interpreted all of their passive-aggressive behavior for them so that they wouldn't have to be adults and communicate with me like an adult. Ugh. That's good shit. Coffee all gone now, bye-bye. And learning about this fault of ours is great because we can like stop it in its tracks whenever it happens and be like, hey, I gotta stop doing this. That's great, that's wonderful, all the self-help articles say you should do that. But what they don't talk about is the darker side to it. This is extremely vital to living Moss, as it were. But the painful truth about this is that you will lose people that are important to you as a result. When you grow faster than someone else, you're gonna outgrow people. And that is a really sucky thing. It's very important and you absolutely should outgrow people. But not everyone talks about this, and I think it's important that we acknowledge that. If they don't operate in the same way you do, it puts strain on the relationship, and you might find that you don't fit together anymore. I had an ex-girlfriend of mine leave me because there was a misunderstanding that we had, and instead of communicating with me that there was a problem, she just kept it inside. It's something that would have taken a 5-minute conversation to just clear up, but instead it festered inside, and she felt very uncomfortable about it, and she kind of treated me a little shitty for like a month, and then broke up with me via text message, and that sucked. Something like that feels very bad, but it's not a reflection on you at all. Just because you had personal growth and another person didn't, it doesn't say anything about you. But I didn't know that at the time because this was a new experience for me as well, because no one has ever broken up with me before. I'm always the person to break up with them, and that's the only time anyone's broken up with me. So I took it especially hard. We'd only been dating a couple months at that point, so I didn't have any romantic feelings for her. And this was also after the point where testosterone mixed up my hormones and I no longer am capable of romantic attraction. But, at this point, both of those things, I wasn't capable of it. And also we've been dating for only, I think, 3 months at the time. So it didn't hurt in a romantic way, but it hurt me in a platonic way because we were friends beforehand. And I was very confused because breaking up through text message is such an impersonal act, and so it made me feel like I was a bad person. I felt really shitty. I felt like I was a terrible person. I tried to figure out what I had done wrong. What did I do to deserve this? Because breaking up with someone via text message does have a place if the other person is abusive or they're not in control of their emotions and you don't think you'd be able to sit down and have a conversation with them. But because that was done to me, it made me feel like, holy shit, was I abusive and I didn't realize it? Because like I said before, we had been friends beforehand, so I just thought I was a terrible person for a long time. Because I'm such a people pleaser, that amplified things in a way that was very unhealthy. I blamed myself entirely and I became hyperfixated and I just obsessed over trying to figure out where things had gone wrong. Was I a huge shithead and I didn't realize it? That had to be the answer. And so I went through a couple months of my life where I just thought I was a terrible person. It made me think I was crazy, So even though I had done nothing wrong, I let someone else's inability to communicate with me control how I viewed myself, which is why it's so important to be in relationships, whether platonic or romantic, with people who are able to communicate on the same level as you. You can't go backwards a step, otherwise it just doesn't work. And apparently I learned that this isn't an isolated incident. This is a thing that she does with people every once in a while. I talked to friends of hers that were like, hey, this is a thing that happens. Like, I'm so sorry, but this is just how she is. And while that did make me feel better about the situation, like, oh good, I'm not a horrible abusive asshole and I just didn't realize it. Cool, awesome, things are great with me. It also made me sad that someone could continue to operate in this way even if they know that it's wrong. But it is another important lesson in you can't control someone else's actions, you can only control your own. So I had to stop being sad for someone else. Doesn't involve me. Doesn't, you gotta just focus on yourself. And that's what they don't talk about much, is they talk about the personal growth and like, you gotta do this, this, and this. But what they don't talk about is that you are going to lose a version of that person that you thought existed. And that's okay. You're going to lose who you thought they were because now you two are no longer compatible in that way. But you can't go backwards in order to accommodate them. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but I'm your dad and I'm here to say personal growth is a-okay. I'm sure you want me to say something like, everything will be fine, you'll just make them happy and you guys can continue being friends or dating or whatever the hell. But some people you're gonna outgrow. If they make you feel like shit more than they make you feel good, that's something you have to examine. You have to look inside yourself and wonder why that is. If someone does that passive-aggressive thing to you where they're like, oh, you should have just known what I was thinking, there's gonna be that gut reaction where you're like, fuck, I've done something bad. I've done something. And you're gonna like try to accommodate them, but you have to fight that feeling. Because if you pursue that feeling, it's gonna control you forever. You're gonna use that in all of your relationships. You're going to continue to try to save everyone, and you can't save everyone, Jesse. You can't save everyone. You can't help everyone. See, this is where being a people pleaser turns to shit. I thought I was a horrible human being for many months of my life. I felt so shitty. I hated myself. It made me think I was crazy for so long because I'm a people pleaser. And it's an addiction after a certain point. If you're obsessing over it that badly, it becomes an addiction to making other people happy. And there are two parts to it. The first part is the obsessing over like trying to make everyone happy, trying to save everyone. I have to give all of myself to everyone at all times or I'm not happy, I'm not feeling fulfilled or satisfied that I'm doing all I can for everyone else. And the second part of it is wanting people to like me. Image and how people see me is very important to me because I'm trans, and that translates to other parts of my life. I couldn't stand the thought of someone disliking me for something that was out of my control or that was a mistake. So much so that even months after this happened, I asked if she wanted to date me again. Because even though I'm no longer attracted to her, I couldn't stand the thought of us leaving, things like that. Because the relationship had ended prematurely, it made me feel like, oh shit, I need to fix this. I need to repair our relationship platonically, so that isn't the last interaction that we've had together. Looking back on the last month of our relationship where things weren't great and she wasn't treating me very well, I look back on that and I realized that there were signs that something was wrong, but I had ignored them because I had said at the beginning of us dating, like I do with everyone that I date, I was like, hey, communication is super important to me and I have anxiety, so I want you to tell me when things are wrong because I can't spend all my time like thinking, do you hate me, you know? So I trusted that she would communicate that with me. And even though there were some things where I thought something might be wrong, I thought I was being paranoid. And I thought, you know what, that's disrespectful of her because you're not trusting her to communicate with you like an adult human being. You need to relax. She would tell you if something was wrong. But unfortunately, even if you do say that, even if you do communicate that these things are important to you, sometimes other people just don't communicate in that way. And I get it. I used to be shy and not advocate for myself because I didn't want to be a problem to other people. But unfortunately, no matter what your intention is, if people learn that you lack the ability to communicate when things are wrong, they're not going to trust you as a result. But these characteristics about myself all jumbled up into this big ball of, oh no, this is a problem. Because now I'm very hurt by her actions, I don't trust her, and I'm not attracted to her, and yet I want to date her. Why is that? Why is this happening? It's because I can't stand the thought of me not doing everything I can to repair this platonic relationship. And that's not my problem. I'm an addict. I can't stand the thought of me treating someone less than good. So I need to do everything to fix it. I gotta fix. And that's... You can't fix everything. You can't fix everything. So if you're like me, your heart is in the right place, but you are killing yourself inside, giving parts of yourself to other people. If you keep tearing off these parts of yourself in order to help other people and fuel other people and make sure all of your relationships are good, even with people that aren't willing to put any maintenance in, you're gonna lose all the parts of yourself. It's like the giving tree, you know, that fucking tree? That fucking tree gave everything to that little boy, and now it's nothing. It just got absorbed into the air. Did it? I forget how the giving tree ends. I'm pretty sure it's like Kung Fu Panda, where it's like the turtle that just disappears into dust. Doesn't the giving tree be like, my time has come, and then just float away in specks of the wind? I don't know, Jack Black was there. Kung Fu Panda was surprisingly good. I need to rewatch it. That's not what we're talking about right now. So to summarize, checking in with people who are involved with you and in your life, whether it's a platonic relationship or a romantic or a sexual or whatever, checking in with them is great. A-okay, go do it. But don't let it control your life. If I have a relationship with you where I have to check every 5 minutes to see if you hate me because I don't trust you to communicate with me, we're gonna have a bad time. You have to have platonic and romantic relationships with people where you're not reverting back to an older version of yourself. You have to have people who are compatible with your maturity level. Don't go back to an older version of yourself in order to accommodate someone else's insecurities or lack of maturity growth. Oh my god. Ooh. I'm trying to decide if I want to say this or not. Do I want to share this? I remembered something very funny about... okay, so this shows a lot of personal growth with how funny I find this story now. But at the time, it was obviously not funny at all. But now I can look back on it and be like, oh my god, that did happen. Okay, so when she sent me the text message, I was in a car and I was I was dressed for a Halloween party because we were, I was with two friends of mine. We were on our way to a Halloween party. It was one my network Screenwave was throwing, and it takes place in Pennsylvania, and I've never been in the area in order to actually go. And this was, hey, this is the year I finally get to go. Awesome, great. And I get the text message, and I'm reading it in the back seat, and I am dressed as sexy Detective Pikachu. So I don't have a shirt. I have red cheeks and I have red nipples, and the detective hat. And it's so funny. It's so funny to think about right now. Because I'm dressed as sexy Detective Pikachu, and I'm just like so sad in the back seat. And then we pull up, and my friend's like, here we are. And I remember, oh no, we're arriving at a Halloween party right now. This is one of the worst things that's ever happened to me. I feel so bad right now, and I'm about to be in a very public setting. And I was meeting people that like I had never met before. These were like important people that like I oh my god. And I was just gone. I was just gone for like the first 2 hours of the party because I was just like, I was so miserable. So people are like arriving to the party, and there's this sad shirtless Detective Pikachu sitting on the front lawn of Screenwave, just staring into the parking lot like I'm fucking astral projecting my mind into space. Because I'm a terrible liar. Like I'm a comically terrible liar. People know this about me, and were able to read me immediately. As soon as I stepped into the party, they were like, oh god, what's wrong? Because I'm not good at like, I can't hide how I'm feeling. So I was like, I need a minute. And I just like went outside because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to like do anything. So I was just gone for the first half of the party. And it is so goddamn funny now. It is so funny to think about, which is good that like moments in your life that you might think suck, they'll make great stories later. Like it's so funny. It's so funny. Holy shit. That is so funny. Yeah, that was not a good night. I went back inside and just immediately started drinking and was like, am I a terrible person? Am I just a bad person? Someone that I was meeting for the first time and thought I had pulled it together pretty well. They went to someone else afterwards and was like, hey, is Detective Pikachu okay? They're like, yeah, his girlfriend just like dumped him over text message. And he was like, oh my god, we get him get this sad Pokemon a drink. So I don't remember much of that party, but I did consume a lot of alcohol. God, that sounds sad. It's not, I'm not trying to be sad. It's very funny. Please come out of this story thinking it's as funny as I think it is, because it's so funny. It's so funny to picture a sad Pokemon just like walking around. It's, oh my god. Anyway, okay, serious face. We got to get back to like meat and potatoes of this story. Is that the correct expression? I don't know. Anyway, maturity. My last couple of nutty buddies, which is what I call fuck buddies because it's a sillier, goofier, and less gross word for it. My last couple have been super great at communication, and there's nothing sexier than finding someone who communicates on the same level as you. Nothing, absolutely nothing gets me harder, faster than better, stronger. Nothing gets, it's so stupid. And there is much less stress in my life now as a result. Now that I've gotten rid of the relationships that were a chore to maintain because the other person wasn't putting any maintenance in like the way that I was. Things are dope. Things are super dope. Super dope. I have nothing paternal in me, except when it comes to my cat, I guess. But when it comes to like little humans, little baby humans, I have nothing paternal in my body. I don't like kids. I don't want a kid of my own. And when you date someone who isn't as mature as you in these vital ways, it starts to feel like you're managing a kid. And I did not sign up for that. And that probably goes into a lot of weird daddy issues that I don't want to delve into. Daddy issues is such a weird term, isn't it? Because like it's been used to control women for so long. But like they haven't done anything wrong. Most dads suck. And if you're like, what are we doing? Those guys are the ones that have issues. The guys who can't parent their children. I think we should ditch the term daddy issues and just like say, hey, you're a normal human being whose dad was absent. If someone has a good dad, that's rare. That's the rare thing. I can literally name the number of people who have a good relationship with their dad on one hand. I think you're just like a standard human being if you just didn't know your dad or your dad was shitty. Oh, okay, that was a video. I'm out of coffee. My hair is so long. In reality, it's not long to you, but for me, it hasn't been this long in a long time. I hope this video was able to help you in some way. So hopefully quarantine ends soon because I would like to escape this box that I've been in for 14 days. I need a haircut and I want to go for a walk. I don't want to interact with people. That's what's good about this quarantine is I don't have to interact with people. I'm going off on a thing. Thank you for watching my video. I'll see you in the next video. Nope, re-record that, Jesse. That doesn't sound good. Thank you. Bazinga. No. What? Say something. Say something, Jesse. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. There we go. That wasn't so fucking hard. Thank you so much to all of my wonderful patrons. Y'all sponsor my videos and I really appreciate you because YouTube is an unreliable shithead and I like eating food. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you. I want to give a special shout out to my silver sponsors, Dan Millington, Luke Rizik, Alex Perusco, Jean-Baptiste Rossi, Dane McRae, Alex Bonner, Pocket Jawa, Arlette, Super Luigi, Giovanni, Harara. That is your full name. I said them as two different names. I'm on a weird cadence right now. Babylon, Joe, Roz Powers, and Sierra Haynes. I also want to give a shout out to my gold sponsors, Sam Bartram, Danielle Gormley, Marie Byrne, Fritz Roll, 732, Shane Karras, and Stefan or Steven. I hit the mic. I still don't know how to say the name. I'm gonna look it up. I swear to God. I mean, everyone says it differently. What? I will listen. Let's go to the next one. Diamond sponsors. Thank you to my fucking diamond sponsors, EPAM, Spartan 5781, and Steve Streza. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all y'all, and I'll see you in the next episode. I was about to say, but this isn't an episode. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah.